everyone, and welcome to Vision Variety. I'm Kirsten Price.
And I'm Christian Caldwell. On tonight's episode, we're going to get some pop flies and score an end zone or two because we're talking about sports.
You don't watch many sports, do you?
Not at all, not even in the slightest.
Lucky for you, we'll also be talking about some different events going on in and around Fort Wayne. Stuff like conventions, self-defense classes, and even a world record being broken.
Now, those I'm more familiar with. Thankfully, I can see we've got some clips to help with educating myself on sports and sports culture.
Today, we are going to try to answer an age-old question. What is a sport? Right now, you're probably thinking, well, football's a sport. Baseball's a sport. Heck, even golf and NASCAR are both considered sports. But how do you define a sport when everything from NASCAR to synchronized swimming and football to table tennis, aka ping pong, are considered sports? So what the heck is a sport? Let's take a look at a couple of dictionary definitions to narrow it down. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, a sport is a game, competition, or similar activity done for enjoyment or as a job that takes physical effort and skill and is played or done by following a particular set of rules. Oxford Dictionary, on the other hand, defines a sport as an activity involving physical exertion and a skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Okay, so we have our definition. A sport is a thing that you do that involves some sort of physical activity or skill. It can be competitive, and it's generally to entertain or amuse yourself or other people. Are you into playing video games? Sport! Thumb wrestling? Sport! Lawnmower racing? Sport! Pillow fights? Also a sport. There's a whole wonderful and weird world of sports out there waiting to be discovered. Go find yours. Yay, sports!
Did that help clear anything up for you?
I suppose. I mean, if you think about it, technically eating could be considered a sport. You could take a sandwich and lift it to your face and you're exercising. It makes so much sense, right? It's a sport.
No, not at all. It's not healthy in any way.
Well, changing things up from sports to an equally physical activity, dancing. If you didn't know, Purdue Fort Wayne has its own dancing group called the Dancing Dons. And trust me, they go all out in their performances when we come back. We're going to be turning things over to our fellow reporter Mo as she interviews the head coach for the Dancing Dons.
I guess my favorite part of being a Dancing Don is getting to represent the school. When you're a student, you kind of just get in the funk of going to class, going and studying, and that's all you do. You get to be more involved being a Dancing Don, so we get to make friends, and we're a family.
Our girls are what makes the team a team. Everybody's so different, but everybody's so much fun. People that on a normal basis, in class, we probably wouldn't talk to because their personalities are so different. Once we come here, everybody is together. Everybody's talking to each other. And so I love that sense of unity.
This is my second year as a member of the PFW Dancing Dons. We all are challenged in different ways to improve as artists and athletes, which are both important things as dancers, and we all care about it and care about doing a good job. And so we put in our all, and when you get a group of people that all are motivated to work their hardest for their common goal, then that's a really nice thing.
We're more than a club, we're a team. Yes, we're considered a club, we have to fund ourselves, but we're a team.
We're up to 14 girls this time, so it's a big team this year. We put in a lot of work. We have 2-3 hour practices twice a week, and you guys only see 3 minutes of that at the Coliseum, at Gates. There's so much that goes into this team, and we just hope that people can understand that and get to know us more, and that we can give back to the community a little more and be well known.
Realize we're here.
Hi everyone, my name's Mariah Weber, and I'm currently joined with Kiara Wilburn. She's the head coach of the Dancing Dons. How you doing, Kiara?
I'm good, how are you?
Really good, and thank you so much for joining me on this show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So my first question for you was, how did you get involved with the Dancing Dons?
It all started at freshman orientation. I kind of saw the social media pages, but we were at the pop-up event and they had the boards out. I talked to one of the coaches, signed up, auditioned, and made the team.
Well, there you go. And you're currently a second-year student, is what you had told me earlier, and you're already head coach. How did that go out?
At the end of the season, we're allowed to vote for the new coaches and people in office, and I ran with my co-coach, Maricela Hernandez, and we were surprised that we made it.
Awesome. Well, that is so impressive. Second year, and you're a biochem student, so like having to balance everything, I'm sure is such a struggle. And bouncing off that, as head coach, what are some of the responsibilities that entails?
There's a lot, from picking out the costumes and designing them, finding who can print them, and staying within like the statute's limitations on printing, and choreographing, reblocking numbers, scheduling events, all of that. There's so much that goes on to it.
Well, respect to you. I could not do that. So my next question for you was, for your practices, how does a typical practice routine look? And what are some of the stuff you guys do?
It depends on what genre we're working with. We normally stick to jazz and hip hop. Some events call for different circumstances. Sometimes we work contemporary. We do breast cancer awareness. We do nursing homes. We've performed at Derby Girls, but we really like to perform at the school. We did basketball games in the past. Right now we're allowed to do 2, one men's, one women's. November 20th, we're going to perform at the Coliseum. We'll do a hip hop piece.
My favorite. Awesome. And you perform at like the basketball games is what you had said?
Yes, we have 2 available, and then after everyone else gets their pick, we can pick from the rest, see what works with their schedule and choreographing in time and all of that. We're hoping to get some more awareness and maybe be able to do the beginning of a softball tourney or beginning of a soccer game and get the crowd riled up.
Okay, awesome. Well, I was wondering, so I personally hadn't heard of the Dancing Dons until we started talking about it, getting it on the show, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's awesome that we have a dance team. And I was wondering, how long has it been around and how to get started?
Personally, I'm not 100% sure, especially being a second-year student. I know in the past we used to compete and go and do a lot of events and be around everywhere. I've run into people and they're like, oh, I was a Dancing Don like 15 years ago. And I was like, oh, wow. But it's just we don't get as much recognition now because we're still a club, so it gets pocketbook heavy after designing things and getting competitions and tickets and everything. So this year we will not compete.
Mm-hmm. And you guys pay everything out of your own pocket.
Yes.
As college students.
Yep.
So that's definitely saying something to like the commitment you have and all the hard work you're putting. So awesome with that. My next question for you is, you've been on the team 2 years, 1 year, 2 years now. And I was wondering, like, either whether when you were still just a regular dancer or now being the head coach, what so far has been your personal favorite experience?
Probably getting to meet all the new dancers. This year we have 14 girls, so it's a big team, but we also are open to all genders, so come and try out if you want to. It's fun seeing all the different genres of dance and everyone's background and history in dance, because we have people who have never danced before to people who have been dancing since they were toddlers. So it's fun to see all of us come together and be in one number and all still look really well.
Yeah, and that's awesome, like the different ranges of experience, how they can all coordinate everything and still go really well and really smoothly. So awesome. Well, my last question I had for you was, how would somebody who is interested in joining the dance team, if they saw a flyer or something, how would they go about getting on the dance team and doing that?
We host auditions normally towards the middle of August. We do a bunch of publicity trying to get everybody to come out. This year we've already had our auditions. We had 2 rounds. You'll come try out. You'll learn a hip hop and a jazz number. We'll kind of see where you are in your leaps and your jumps, turns, and see what we can work with and put together a team.
Awesome. I know I've always wanted to dance for the longest time. I'm not a good dancer though, so that's probably not for me. But you had told me about a girl on your team who literally had 0 experience prior and then killed it in the audition and still made the team.
Yeah, and she's coaching this year.
Yeah.
My co-coach, Maricela Hernandez, she had come to try out. She's like, I've never really danced before, but I really want to join the team. And her interview was very good, and the coaches accepted her last year, and now she's coaching. And she does all of her hip-hop pieces and does a lot of the organization and a lot of the backstage stuff that most people don't see. Very thankful for her.
I bet. But like, yeah, that is so impressive to me that you could go from having zero experience to being coached within a year.
Oh yeah.
And also being student-led. Like, that's so cool that you guys are student-led. But yeah, Kiara, thank you so much for joining me today. Now we're going to turn things back over to the folks at the desk. But first, let's take a look at the upcoming Fort Wayne PopCon and the classic Johnny Appleseed Festival.
The Johnny Appleseed Festival, held in Fort Wayne, Indiana, is a very significant part of Fort Wayne culture. People come from all over the country to visit the festival, and there is normally a massive turnout of over 250,000 people every year. A large part of the festival features demonstrations of how things were done during the time of Johnny Appleseed. Some demonstrators show attendees how they made wool, the dye used to colour the wool, and how they made items from the wool. Others demonstrate how jewellery was made, play songs from the time, or perform as historical figures such as General Anthony Wayne. But the festival is not just demonstrations. It also includes craft stalls with items for purchase, jewellery stalls, and many food stalls with food such as kettle corn, pumpkin rolls, apple cider and fudge, to name a few. And with the festival being so popular with people from all over the country, it is hoped it will continue for many years to come. This has been Claire Woods for Vision Variety.
We are here at Fantasticon promoting PopCon Fort Wayne, which is going to be December 29th and 30th, right back here at the Grand Wayne Center. We are a full-fledged multi-genre convention that we're bringing up from Indianapolis, where we've had upwards of 30,000 people come, and we're scaling it down for Fort Wayne, but going to retain all the features that we have in Indianapolis. We're going to have laser tag, virtual reality, board gaming, retro arcade, esports. We bring in voice actors, TV and movie celebrities. We'll have YouTubers. We have we'll have parties in the evening. We have it's fully family friendly from beginning to end. We love bringing fun to the communities in which we operate. So we're all about the experience. We want the families and the geeks, and we want the cosplay, and we want everything to just come all together into a melting pot of geek. We love when people come and they're, say, a sci-fi fan or an anime fan, but they come in and they walk away with having become a fan of something completely else, and they go out and watch that. And PopCon has turned into like a family reunion where people come from all over the region, and in Indianapolis from all over the world, honestly, where they meet up with their friends once a year, and it's just like a family reunion. We've got most of the first floor of the Grand Wayne Center and even a room upstairs. We're going to spread out. There's going to be activities going out throughout the whole weekend, even probably our Friday night, so even probably December 28th. But all day Saturday, the 29th, and Sunday, the 30th of December, just be around downtown in the convention center. You'll be able to go from activity to activity, into the vendor hall, out of the vendor hall, listen to podcasters, go meet your favorite YouTubers. You can just do all sorts of everything throughout the entire day. It's really a weekend event. You might be able to get a whole lot of it done in one day. You'd want to come out young, old, geek, not geek, dress up, don't dress up, doesn't matter. Everybody's going to be having a great time. Everybody's walking around with a smile on their face. They're able to find the geeky goods at all the vendors. They're able to buy their favorite art. It's really just an even playing field of just fun in every direction, and we only get to see it. We work on it year round, but we get to experience it for 2 or 3 days. 2 days here in Fort Wayne, and it's just walking around, seeing everybody's smile on their face makes the other 330 days or 350 days a whole lot easier.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm really excited about PopCon. I think it's really cool that we have this convention that's coming to town where we're gonna have these famous movie actors from Marvel films, and all of these famous YouTubers and cosplayers and all these comics and stuff like that are just gonna be paraded about in the Grand Wayne Center. It's really exciting.
How have I never heard of this? My favorite things to do are watch Marvel movies and YouTube. I've been into superheroes since I was little. I'm probably my dad's little tomboy. But one thing that just happened was Johnny Appleseed, and that's like one of my favorite events here around Fort Wayne. I haven't gone to many here in Fort Wayne since I just moved, but Johnny Appleseed's one of my favorites. I actually helped my aunt work one of the booths. Her sorority does a charity event where they serve food like hot dogs and pulled chicken sandwiches, and I've done it multiple years. I've done so many different things. I've served the food, I've taken orders, and the best part is that I go there anyway, so afterwards I can peruse what they have. I love to find things to decorate my house. I love the food there. Every year I have to get a caramel apple with nuts, and my sister gets a caramel apple sprinkles. And my mom has to get apple dumplings, sister has to get root beer. We all have our favorite things that we have to do around Johnny Appleseed.
Nice. I'm really looking forward to Three Rivers. I really like the chalk art and stuff like that. It's a really good time just to, like see all of those like big portraits and landscapes of like, the wildest things that like people just draw, and like such artful skill. It's really fascinating.
Awesome. Is it kind of like a fair? Is it an event? Like what kind of?
Okay, so Three Rivers has a lot going on with just like, like there's carnival rides, and there's like all of these like events, and there's a parade. It's really a good time, actually. It takes place every summer here in town.
Awesome. So it's like a fair for the town. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And one thing I always hear about but have never actually attended is German Fest. I know you don't have to be 21, as many people think, but I heard like there's all kinds of German like culture and dances, and people even dress up for that. I know people dress up for popcorn all the time.
Yeah.
My brother's one of them. And then, have you heard of Middle Waves?
I know that it's, a music festival for a lot of rock. But, basically it's got like, like all these different like bands, and, they all like play live music all around town. It's pretty cool. Other than that though, I mean, like going back to like German Fest, I think it'd be really great to see, people walking around in lederhosen, and, it's a good time. It's a really great time for Fort Wayne and like all the culture. And there's always constantly like new events and things like that popping up in town, because Fort Wayne's, getting bigger and expanding, and it's really great, and we're celebrating that. So. And
Fort Wayne's really good about keeping its history. Like if you've ever been to the old fort, I know one event they actually have is Be a Tourist in your hometown.
Oh.
They open up a lot of different different businesses and for free, so it's a lot of fun. So on a more serious note though, it's important to be able to protect yourself, and one class here at Purdue Fort Wayne is offering women a chance to learn how.
My name is Dr. Megan Horn, and I am a clinical psychologist, and I'm a Krav Maga self-defense instructor. Krav Maga is the combat system that the Israeli Defense Forces use in Israel. The word means contact combat in Hebrew, so Krav Maga, contact combat. So it's their form of hand-to-hand combat and also being able to utilize weapons. It's an evolutionary system, as it is. The guy who started it for the civilian side of things was a professional wrestler and boxer. Krav Maga was around prior, but it was for military use, and he translated it more into civilian use. It has its roots in Muay Thai and boxing and wrestling and jiu-jitsu and judo and lots of other martial arts systems with a different mindset and expectation. It's more for realistic self-defense versus a competitive atmosphere. So you're working from points of disadvantage. I don't think the physical side of self-defense can be separated from the psychological learning. If I am only learning the movements, I'm not fully understanding the context in which they have to be used or how to prepare in order to use them or know when. You fight through the pain. There's so many parallels in Krav to life. I can't even begin on that one. But if you can withstand a lot of this physical pain, there's so much psychologically and emotionally that you can withstand, that you learn these different parts of yourself, and it just combines to just build you up. So it's not that women don't have that capability, they just have to be given the opportunity to do it, and they have to give themselves permission to just let go and get into it. It was kind of an extra layer of, wow, I'm teaching people how to literally potentially protect themselves and save their life. That's pretty amazing. Women are so much tougher than they have any idea. And if it's intimidation, I would just tell women, you're not the only one. It's not a unique experience, and That intimidation is not indicative of your capability. Just because you're fearful doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you don't realize that you can do it yet.
Hey, it's Mo again here to tell you about the upcoming home games we have here at Purdue Fort Wayne for the rest of the fall semester. The Dons are going out in full force for the rest of 2018. Rounding out October, we got the men and women's soccer team playing against the likes of Denver, Eastern Illinois, Cincinnati, and IUPUI. The final home soccer game will be the women's team taking on Western Illinois at 7 p.m. on October 25th. We got a few volleyball games coming up too. The women's team will be taking on South Dakota on October 28th, and South Dakota State on November 9th, as well as finally taking on Denver on November 11th. And don't forget, basketball takes over starting the day before Halloween, as the men team squares off against DePauw at 7 p.m. The men play 9 games against the likes of Earlham, Manchester, and UMKC, while the women's team plays 6 games against the teams such as Taylor, SIUE, and Goshen. The women's game wrap up against Valparaiso at 7 p.m. on December 19th, while the men play 1 day later on the 20th against Siena Heights at 7 p.m. That's it for 2018. For more information, visit gomacedons.com. Now, let's take a look at some live traditional Irish music, courtesy of J.K. O'Donnell's.
This is an authentic Irish session in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
On October 8th, 2018, J.K. O'Donnell's, an Irish pub in downtown Fort Wayne, hosted live musicians playing traditional Irish tunes. The event went from 7 to 10 p.m. and created a very warm, inviting atmosphere that made everyone feel welcome. We were able to interview one of the patrons there that night, all the way from Michigan, and here's what she had to say about the music and the event.
I think the music is really great. I think something that's lively in Fort Wayne downtown that brings everyone together. It's great for a Monday night. Just get everyone in here. Nice jam sesh.
We were also able to interview one of the players there that evening, CTV's own director, Bernie Lohmuller. Bernie plays the fiddle along with several other instruments. He told us how he got into playing the fiddle and a story about one of the songs he's written.
I was really drawn to the fiddle. I started playing it probably in my early 20s, and I didn't take lessons at all, so I was self-taught, and mostly I did take a couple from an old-time Kentucky fiddler, but it took a long time for me to really get a good grip on it. I've written one tune as I co-wrote it with a friend of mine. It's in our band. I play in a band called Prairie Fire String Band, and we wrote a waltz. It's called a waltz. It's called Pokagon Moon, actually. It's pretty cool. We do this annual gig at Pokagon State Park in the fall. It's got their fall festival, and it's a dance, and it's a country social dance, which is lots of different kinds of things like square dancing and circle dancing, line dancing, or what's called contra dancing. It's original line dancing, and it's kind of dancing you see in old movies, and then also waltzing. And then we sat down one night, we had a little time before the show, and we were working on this. He started playing this chord progression on the guitar, and so I said, wait a minute, I think there's some tune in there. So we worked that up into a tune. And so we premiered it the next year when we played it, and as we played it, we were going to call it the Pokagon Moon, because at that time of year, the moon's always coming out. It just happens to work out that way. And as we played it, the moon came up, and it was pretty cool.
J.K. O'Donnell's is located at 121 West Wayne Street in Fort Wayne, Indiana, between Calhoun and Harrison Streets. You must be 21 or older to enter, and you'll be greeted with a warm smile and a cozy atmosphere. From Vision Variety, I'm Joe McCormick.
We still have an hour before class.
I know. Let's just try and enjoy the quiet, okay?
I don't know, man. I really want to do something.
Like what?
Well, there's this sport I invented. It's called Skipple Frog.
Skipple Frog?
Yeah.
And you invented it?
Yeah, and it's super easy. You'll get the hang of it, of course. But the first thing you have to do is... Then... Next, that part is super easy. Then, we go down here, and at this part, you'll love it. Then, And finally, we finish with this.
Skipple. Think of me.
Guys, guys, wait, it's your turn. Guys, where did you? Now that's what I'm talking about. That's a man sport right there.
I don't know. I'm not sure it's going to catch on.
Oh, come on, Kirsten. This is the sport of the future.
Can you actually tell me any of the rules?
Well, I mean, there's a thing about rolling around and the bit with the stairs. I mean,
Can you even pronounce the name of the sport?
It's skipple, dipple, froggle, skipple, fripple, frapple.
You know, there are alternatives to games like basketball.
Like what?
How about laser tag?
Events going on this week around Purdue University Fort Wayne included a deal for students at Combat Ops Arena. Students who brought their school IDs could play laser tag or even nerf tag for a discounted price of just $10 a session. In addition to laser tag or nerf tag, Combat Ops Arena is also equipped with a bowling alley, axe throwing, and a huge variety of arcade games. With a focus around campus this month on mental health, Combat Ops Arena is a great option for friends who want to relieve stress together. Owner David Dimburio states, "Here at Combat Ops, we have great attractions for having fun and relieving stress. This laser tag is unlike any laser tag you have played before. Our laser tag is like a live version of a combat video game. Through our local outreach programs, students have the opportunity to come and have a great time with friends." Combat Ops is also gearing up for Halloween, so students should keep them in mind if they are looking to have some spooky fun in the coming weeks.
This is Christopher Blake, and on September 14th, he stepped foot into Deer Park Irish Pub to break the Guinness Book of World Records for most jumping jacks in 1 hour. Not only did Christopher beat the record, but he kept up a pace of about 72 jumping jacks per minute.
Now, that is a man sport right there. Who needs skipple frog?
Hey, you pronounced it right, and at least you're on the same page as me now.
I mean, I'm over that sport anyway. I'm gonna try and break a new world record. Like, I don't know, I might like lift the world's heaviest weight, or eat the most hamburgers, or I don't know, play the longest rock song. Who knows?
If I were to do a world record, I'd probably do the longest world record for taking a nap, because that just sounds a great time for me.
Taking a nap, man. You know what? Sounds like a really nice break for me too. But you know what? I'm gonna take the world's longest vacation.
That's what I need. That's
Yeah.
what I need right
I need
there.
a pina colada and a beach.
Well, best of luck with you with that. That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. I'm Kirsten Price.
And I'm Christian Caldwell.
I mean, don't you mean the world record?
Oh, right, I am. I'm gonna be the world record holder for skipple frog.
Please don't.
I mean, at least I got it right.
Anyway, and we'll see you on the next episode of Vision Variety.
See
Have
you
a great
later.
night.